because we are going to be working today. Today is Tuesday, May 6th, with Encinitas Mindfulness Community and Diana Shimkus. That's me. We're getting a really wonderful group of YouTube visitors, which is really a little interesting to me. And it was not my goal to become, some hot influencer on YouTube. That is not an aspiration of mine. And I love that people are obviously searching for these topics. I'm certain that is how they're finding us. And I feel really excited about that. So that's really good news because these topics are topics for our time, aren't they? Particularly, I think, maybe especially in difficult time. This is the practice, these are the teachings. And our entire retreat will be devoted to the practices of open spaciousness, loving kindness, open heartedness, and that clear seeing radiant sun like quality of mind in mindfulness that Chogyam begins to talk about in chapter 10 that we're going to be reviewing today. He uses three particular metaphors: the metaphor of the sun itself, the metaphor of the echo. I like to think of that as the 2x4 to the head, is my version, Chicago Carpenter version of the echo. He was being much nicer. I think it's whack, comes and gets you, but tells you everything you need to know. And then the bow and arrow, uh, and what that ultimately means in terms of our continuity, our consistency, our directness, our precision in our practice, and then on the path. But before we go to that, I thought I'd check in on last week's homework. Does anybody recollect the homework? While I take a sip of my tea. And Libby says, no, I don't at all. And why is that? Well, the reason we don't recollect the homework is because by now, if you haven't been consistently offering some of these practices and then making that everyday commitment to it, look at how easy it is for them to fall away. Does anybody recollect the practice? It had to do with the breath. Janine, you're looking at me, so I think you might have some idea. She's like, I kind of remember some parts of that. What's the parts you remember? Had something to do with the breath, wasn't just bringing awareness to the breath, which is always our base practice, wasn't breathing out, opening into open space. That's always also a base or key element of the practice. Remember, we were beginning to bow in recognition to things. That's where we started several weeks ago. And then we bowed in the next week and actually looked for possibilities for what? Responsiveness, responding. We didn't have to take them. We just had to look, bow to the moment. This is a moment of potential. This is a moment of possibility for my what? Awakening, for my interacting, for more my embodying. Remember this kind of work? We didn't have to do anything. We were just looking for opportunities. And then last week, we took it even further. I said, can you begin to use the breath itself to breathe out the good that you wished for the other? Remember, that was number one. At least offer Maitri, she calls it. Metta, we often call it. Kindness, loving kindness, open heartedness to that situation simply by the mind body, embodying it, recollecting it, sending it out. The goodness goes out. We're going to do it again this week because it isn't easy to remember, is it? What did we talk about last week? Well, the truth of the practice is it's easier in the quiet hour of 7:30 to 8 o'clock than it is the whole rest of one's day life. Except we have to keep trying, don't we? Because if we don't, we can't let this then become our default mode of operating, which is what can I offer this? Begin with the wish for well being, send it out with the out breath. The other work was then, if I can't do that because I just can't get it together, could I breathe in for myself, right? In this moment of failure, in this moment of confusion, in this moment of forgetting, in this moment of being too busy, too task oriented, too distracted, too entertained, to something, whatever you are too much of, to have been able to access that, right? Because we will be there. So then we've said, then there is no moment that is not a moment for awakening. Because look at your options. I could remember, oops, right? To either first breathe out good wishes for others. And remember, we know only when we can do that with some kind of consistency can we then come back to the self and then sometimes breathe in the difficulty, right? If we can't breathe in the difficulty, we can always begin with ourselves and that tap to the heart, the reminder to open the heart wherever it can. Then it might simply be to you in this moment of difficulty, right? Okay, I can't breathe it in. I can't breathe it out. Can I at least tap, take a couple breaths because you're breathing anyway, and actually remember, yes, the truth of this human life is difficulty also, right? That was the first noble truth, wasn't it? There's going to be difficulty, suffering, confusion, ignorance, greed, hatred in this life. Can I at least take a minute, breathe for myself? Well, if you've really got this right, you're going to spend a lot of time right there, aren't you? A lot of time tapping on the heart and a lot of time breathing in for oneself in one's moment of forgetting. There is no better compassion practice, though, than that one. So, why do you think we forget? Let's talk about it for a minute. Why do we forget? That we forget's just, right, a part of the deal. But what do you think happens that we forget? Because if you don't understand the conditions for your forgetting, you'll never be able to remember. What is it? I think I'm not sure, Carrie, if you wrote that to this. The habit mind says, Courtney, the habit mind takes over. Carrie says to something else, fear, touch point, Tonglen, and evening reflection. Yes, these are the essential touch points for our practice. That's beautiful. Thank you. On the spot Tonglen, yes, that would be one thing you could do. Although Tonglen, Courtney, just for our clarity, Tonglen would be considered to be a larger practice than would be self-compassion. At the minimum, then, we have self-compassion, the tap to one's own heart, recollecting the moment of what? Forgetting. Remember me talking about it? Fail, fail, fail again, fail better, says Pema. This is the path. So what are we going to do? Because we're going to notice a lot of forgetting, a lot of didn't get it, a lot of voice tone went sideways, a lot of eye roll just happened, a lot, right? What are we doing? Can I at least tap my own heart in recollection, in remembering? So we're going to have to begin there, aren't we? So that just means we jumped a little too far ahead. Chogyam's a little speedier than we are, maybe. Maybe we've got to back up the truck and start with ourselves. So since bowing to ourselves looks weird, right, though it would be the same, what we can do now is at least the three taps. Well, what do we know? Well, we know that it actually influences and impacts the vagal bundle. Just do it for a few minutes. I want you to just see. Now, remember in Kundalini, they have a version of tapping. There's tapping solutions in our new psychotherapy. I just want you to spend a minute doing it. So if you're here, just tap gently. I don't know if you can see me doing it. And I want you to just feel for a minute. We're going to do it for a solid minute. want you to feel the impact of that. Now, remember, right now I'm doing a more Kundalini-like version. I'll show you. This is the Kundalini, uh, just opening the whole of that area, all the way from the breastbone up to the collarbone. Right, so that would be one version. In our self-compassion training, Pema's tendency is to simply do a gentle pat, like the pat you would offer a baby to offer soothing, right? You know this pat. The pat you might have needed 1 billion times in your life, and there was nobody there. So now we're going to give it where we're going to offer it to ourselves. Let's be quiet for a minute and just offer the tap. Let's see what its impact is. With the wish, may I be free from this sorrow, this suffering, this confusion, or this forgetting. May I hold myself then in my own hand, in my own heart mind. May I come to dwell in my own body, present to this moment, myself in it exactly as I am. And then I've noticed that the tapping is no longer necessary for me, but the holding is. Breathing into the hand and letting the hand gently come back to the heart with the out breath. Feeling the warmth of the hand, the offering that comes with the hand, and the beating heart opening to receive that nourishment, that kindness, that compassion. And then I'd like you to feel into the quality of the hand itself. What do you notice? You can feel its aliveness, its vibration, its warmth, its willingness to open, to hold our own hearts. And then before we end, feel the impact to the heart. Breathe it in. Relaxing in it, bathing in it, immersing one's whole body, mind, being in this essential, basic goodness. And then let the hand rest down and just take a moment to feel how you are. The soothed baby, the calmed mind, the settled and softened body, the available tender heart. And then see what else the body needs as we come back. Come here. And so how was that? That was a 3-minute practice, not 30. How was it? What do you notice? The silence is the answer, folks. The silence is the answer, isn't it? The silence is, I'm already all right now. Soothing, beautiful, comforting. 3 minutes. Libby says she noticed that she didn't need to keep tapping as much as time went on, that the very just ability to keep the hand in contact was sufficient, and it is true. That's the way you'll know. By the way, it's a natural neurofeedback mechanism. Isn't it interesting? You'll actually know that you're calming, that your brain wave is lowering. You're moving into a deeper, lower parasympathetic. You'll know it because you don't need to continue the activity. The activity becomes then a distraction. You're just doing it. Why? Well, because she told me to, but it isn't what would become natural. Did anybody else notice that? Anybody else feel that? That doesn't mean it was wrong. If you didn't, it means you needed maybe more soothing. You maybe needed another minute. You're also just learning this practice. And so this practice may be like my brain is wired to respond, to hear this, to take it in, to do the learning. So I can't yet feel fully into it. All this is fine, though, isn't it? So, what other questions? We're going to be doing this a billion times. Why? Because we're not remembering, but that's okay. It just means we went ahead in a way that Chogyam suggested that isn't really quite, we're not quite ready. We want to hang out with ourselves a little while longer. So we're going to make this week, including the time in retreat, time where this is continuous. Dennis says refreshing, revealing, and peaceful. Yes. Courtney says sometimes the simplest act of care can provide. Yeah, isn't it interesting? Don't we find this amazing? We think we have to go to the mountain cave for 27 years, sit naked on the floor to get something from the practice. And what's the real truth? 3 minutes several times a day will change your brain for the better, which will change your heart for the better, which will change you for the better. Right? And we forget that most of these things are quite simple. So it isn't their complication, though our last week's practice was going to take a lot of mindfulness. This is just a little revealing for us, then, isn't it? Like, I like the instruction. I wanted to do the instruction. I just couldn't remember it. Well, that just means our mindfulness falls away. What does it fall away to? Anybody notice? What were you doing instead of remembering the breath, it's offering and it's receiving? Remember, sending and taking. What do you think? What was your mind doing as you think about it? Libby did something like this.
Spinning in the story.
Spinning in the story, Libby said. Mm-hmm. Jim's right. I was being a robot. I was just mechanically on autopilot, which is a word that was really made famous by Jon Kabat-Zinn himself, caught in the stream. The stream of what? Busyness, of doing, of action, of reacting versus responding, distracting. Yes. Cindy, completely correct. What else were you doing? Anybody notice? So busy, distracting, spinning in old thoughts. I caught myself several times just reviewing stories. I was like, remember how you have heard me say there's only 11 original thoughts, everything else is repeat. I caught myself in about 10 of those going, wow, this is really interesting. I also very distinctly noticed, though, moments when I wasn't caught. And I was grateful for that opportunity as well. Like, I am really just in creative flow this moment. I am just in the garden in this moment. I am just here with the roses this moment. I am just in uh, creating an idea for retreat that feels exciting and fun and right. I am just in how do I make these in an interesting new way and could totally bring myself. So it wasn't that it wasn't a task, it wasn't first a task. It was the manifestation of the open heart mind there. So remember, it isn't the doing is not our failure. We have to be watchful, right? If doing is not our failure, then what? Where is the work? Doing is not our failure. If it is not, where is our work? What's the practice? Waking up with it, waking up and letting the a very awakening direct it. What will I do in this awakened moment? I will promise you something. It won't be your repeat story. They're not that interesting. They're actually quite boring. You don't even need to repeat them, right? What I can promise in the moment of awakening, how do I find it? Even the knowing I'm not awake is a moment of awakening. Why? I can come right back home right now. Can I then take a few breaths for myself? Would that be possible? Noticing the mind run amok, noticing it caught in the task, noticing the driving and the irritation at others and lines and things never going right. What could we do? We could pause uh, and breathe, but not for anyone else, not first, right? Not for anyone else first, but what? Those several breaths then. And then could we invite and offer, if we are in need, that gentle tap and then that hand, remembering this is a moment of awakening. How does that practice sound for this week? Workable. Libby's nodding. I saw Jim nod. Workable? Yeah. It just means we got ahead of ourselves. We weren't quite there. Uh, I noticed myself as I was talking with people, nobody was talking about it. So I'm like, okay, nobody's doing it. That's okay. I use that as an opportunity as well to wake up, can't you? You can go, wait a minute, where'd we go? Then we remember Chogyam went there, but really, we might need to stay with ourselves quite a bit longer. Since this is retreat week, that's the primary work, isn't it? To first come home to oneself and then using the very medium of the breath uh, as an anchor opportunity for present moment and then those additional open hearted practices. Sound like a good plan? Any other questions about it? Because we're going to commit ourselves exponentially this week. Anything else that we think might get in our way besides the forgetting and then the remembering? But in that moment of remembering, you're putting an exclamation point on it, aren't you? You aren't just going on with your day. You can't. You cannot. We have to stop, drop in, regard oneself and the truth of this human life that has this forgetting. Remember, forgetting's our nice word for suffering. It's our friendly word for suffering. You are on the path to suffering every time you forget. And every time I forget, it is worthy of self-compassion, because that's the beginning of all the rest of the suffering, isn't it? It's right there in that one moment. And we don't regard it enough, do we? We go, meh, what's up? Just swore at the guy. No big deal. I didn't get my money out this time. I was like, yeah, there's 10,000 homeless. Who needs to feed this guy? I'll just catch another one in another minute, right? Those habits are pervading, is the language. Pervading. We know in the negativity bias, then, folks, what? They're going to happen 17 times to your one good thought, because the depth of that negativity bias runs a rut deeper than that goodness. It doesn't mean it doesn't have as important an impact. It just means the brain goes like etching concrete, deeper and deeper with every moment of forgetting. Except we can cut that impact right off. This is the part I love about the practice. You can cut it right off. It doesn't have to keep etching. The moment you catch it, and then the moment, rather than continue, stupid, I can't believe I did it again, this is ridiculous, that we bang, stop that, get into the tap. Let me come home. Let me be with. Let me regard. Let me love. Let me have self-compassion for myself in this moment of forgetting. Self-compassion for myself in this moment of forgetting. You're going to need to say this. How many? 10,000 times. And it will all be good. Every day, Libby said. Every day. And it will all be good. And I want you to feel the benefit of that. So we're going to practice, and then we're going to talk about chapter 10 a little bit. And I'm mostly going to be reviewing those three key metaphors: the sun, the echo, and the bow and arrow. But let's practice first. So prepare to sit. Feel into the body, give it a little gentle movement. There's little gentle sways forward and back, left and right, till we find our center seat, the Dharma seat. And remember, before we begin, we set the table for the feast. This is recollecting all those awakened ones, all those blessed ones, all those we know, all those we don't know, throughout all time, who are contributing by their practice, by their open-heartedness, by their clear-seeing minds. The path has been lit and laid for us. We are grateful. And we bow gently. We bow the head to the truth of that. We are here with all those others. Just resting in stillness. And if you feel any agitation, any, oh, I'm not going to get this right, you can actually begin that gentle tap at any time. This very settling in, it's like tucking in the baby. There's a gentle tap that we offer. Everything's all right. Thich Nhat Hanh would say, sweetheart, I am here. And so then we direct the mind towards our bodhisattva aspiration. That's called igniting the heart of bodhicitta, igniting the good heart. We recollect all that it took us to get here today when we could have done infinite other things. And yet, the goodness in you, the committed heart, mind in you, the wish for happiness, for ease, for freedom in you brought you here. We activate that bodhicitta heart. And remember, in our everyday life, we can smile gently, we can bow gently to that essential goodness in you. And for this practice in particular, early on, I'd like to breathe right into the heart space. This is a bit like finding the target. And we create space and room for the whole of this heart. Beginning with its goodness. And any time that you feel like you want to make direct contact with that, you can place the hand. My hand's just resting. Remembering the truth of this precious human life, the gift of this life accorded to few, the fact that we have a short time in which to awaken. And then we commit ourselves wholeheartedly to awakening now. Softening the body with the out breath. I call it dropping the armor. And when we do the dropping of the weapons, dropping of the armor on the out breath, we have to recognize that there is a vulnerability in this human life and in this human heart. And it's important to then be tender and gentle and simply completely present so that we are not rushing. Abiding in the goodness of our own hearts. No better home than this. And I noticed, just for me, I began a gentle tap, and I was curious about that tap. And then I looked and I caught the thought, it's not always been a very friendly place. And it made me smile, but also made me want to not go into condemnation into criticism or into judgments. And so I began that gentle tap, offering that soothing and that allowing. It's okay. I can be friendly now. And then we're going to simply rest in that in and out breath here. We're not going to move out into spaciousness particularly because we're going to look at the thoughts and we're going to practice the tap with certain thoughts. And so that thought, this has not always been a very friendly place, invited that tap because I know it comes with an old belief. And that old belief is you may not be so capable of this. It's very deep. But that comes with that thought. It's not always been such a friendly place. And I can simply breathe for myself, begin that tap, and offer myself grace and mercy, maybe a certain amount of forgiveness, but at the minimum, self compassion. Can I recognize this as a moment of suffering? Can I know this thought, this very discreet, looks like just Diana's thought, as the truth of our human experience? Everyone has this thought. Can I remember and regard myself by offering myself a moment of nourishment? I'm just going to stick with Ty's sweetheart. Sweetheart, I am here with you. And we breathe right into that good heart. Remembering and awakening. And then we smile. This moment of goodness is enough. Softening, soothing, allowing. As you are resting in the breath and resting in that compassionate heart, as long as you are there, there's nothing else to do. Just breathe it in and breathing it out, distributing it to the whole of your mind, body, being. Offering the gentle tap when it is useful, not doing the work when it's not needed, or holding the heart. remembering the truth of suffering and your presence, your arrival, and your responding to it. There may be a moment of fear, a moment of aggression, a moment of distraction, and we respond the same. Sweetheart, I am here. And we breathe in that warmth or that spaciousness, that kindness, that compassion, that goodness. We bathe the heart, we relax the heart, we let go of the armor. Make sure the belly is soft. Let the shoulders lower with each out breath. That's the creating of room, the opposite of contractedness. We're creating space, both for our forgetting and our loving and compassionate response. You may notice a moment in the body of a certain kind of pinch, a little tenderness, a tight spot, I've called it grip. And if you do, that would be the time for the gentle tap. Sweetheart, I am here with you. This very willingness to stay is a radical act of self compassion. Radical act act of love, this very willingness to breathe in again and then respond. And then you might notice, it may or may not occur, if you are an active offering of self compassion as it is needed, then you simply stay there. But the heart continues to grow bigger with each offering. And then it, at some point in its right time, becomes so big, we can begin then to breathe in for another who knows this too, who feels this just like me. And then we're breathing in for us both. Breathing in for you and me in this recognition of forgetting and in this moment of awakening. And may we all be safe and well. May we all be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May we remember our good fortune, this precious human life. And may we rest and dwell in our own vast, open, and empty hearts. Room enough for me, for you, and ultimately for all beings. And may this practice then be of benefit. So be it. And so, any questions or comments about the practice? We get the idea. Let me see if I can get us to then the Kindle, and I have it on my phone again, so I may have to pull that up also. Oops. Get you guys in there. I didn't lose you. Okay, didn't lose you. That's good news. Let's see if I can find it. Here we go. Let's see if that worked. Moving it back over. So can we see it here? Anybody see that? Does it look like writing? Okay, great. All right, good. I'm going to get onto my phone as well because I did some other highlighting from there. This is chapter 10, The Tools of Bravery. And the key for me are these 3 instructions that Chogyam offers. And so I have underlined already here one of the essential truths, which is the path of fearlessness begins with the discovery of fear. The very recognition, Chogyam is saying, is the beginning of the path. The very knowing, the forgetting. And forgetting, by the way, is the same as fear. Just so you know, it's identical. It is only the fearing heart that forgets, the contracted one, the one that turns away or moves away from the present moment. Here's an interesting fact. It's taken me a long time. Every moment of forgetting was taken. It didn't just, I contracted at some point away from the present moment and my natural capacity for awakening. This is a hard idea to get, isn't it? Because we tend to think of ourselves as more naturally in a fear state, but it is in fact not true. It's just more familiar. But our natural state of presence, of awakening, of loving, we actually had to get from it. It just became our lives, didn't it? Like that became the habit, and then that became, and then now we're just in that habit going, this is just me. It is not accurate. It is not accurate. Why? Even in all that contractedness, years and years of practice, what happens? I can recognize that contraction, the turn away, the brace against, the under the covers, right? This is its profound, pervading, remember that word, capacity. After all that practice of you ducking from life, you can see yourself do it. This is amazing. So look at this. Chogyam says the bright light, the sun of awareness, is never, never gone. Even after 70 years, a looking the other way, a turning the other way, of making the enemy of the realities, there it is. Wow. Whew, I can see this. And now, only now, once I see it, I can respond. After all that practice, it's truly amazing. This is what the Buddha saw. He went after all those years in the castle, after all those years being kept hidden from illness, aging, and death. After, right, a whole lifetime, he was in his 30s of just being attended to and cared for and, right, kept from all difficulty, right? Even then, he was like, wait a minute, that's not going to help. I'm going to have to find a better way because what? He ran into the corpse, he ran into the old man, he ran into the suffering, he ran into then the sage and went, wait a minute, there is a way. So, this capacity in us, like the bright sun, the radiant sun, is always here. Do not believe otherwise. Then we cannot mistake ourselves, can we? We cannot mistake ourselves for the habit. It's a bad habit to do so. We have to remember. And he says this is an act of profound bravery, not to just fall into the well again, not just to go, yeah, but it still is, or there's the same thought. We don't have to do that. We can stop it the minute we can feel that contraction, the minute we notice the harsh thought, the minute we catch the storyline. What can I do? Come home. I'm going to be here, and I'm going to be here as long as it takes me to be here so that I can attend to that moment. We don't have hours, do we? The truth is, you can't stay there for 6 hours. The truth is, what? You might give yourself a minute, maybe on a really good day, 3, because that's how long we did the practice for today, to just go, let me just remember the sun is always shining. I am that. I am that sun. I am that warmth. I am that spaciousness that fills it. I am that bloom of the gorgeous epiphyllum we have out on the patio. Right? I am that. I am all of nature, and nature is all of me. You could step outside, just take a breath of fresh air, not the stale, deadening air of forgetting or what of suffering. Right? So this is very important for you to know. We make the mistake over and over. It says here, we have to make a definite move to cross over the boundary. Here's what I just said, isn't it? From cowardice, that same old tuck-in habit, to bravery. We have to make it what? Intentioned. It will not happen because it's a good idea. This takes real work. That's what he wrote. A real move, a definite move to real bravery. We may not discover bravery right away. Instead, we may just run smack into our suffering, into our anxiety, into our nervousness, into the belief that we just don't have what it takes. But what can we do there? Can I breathe in for myself in this moment of suffering? Can I remember the truth of the all-pervading east rising sun? This moment, right? Isn't it always? East rising sun, just this moment. There's nothing else. Birthing this moment, awakening this moment, sun shining, just this moment. I'm going to forget and I'm going to talk myself right out of it. And he says so. It's going to take more than a good idea to hang on to this. You're going to run smack maybe into your pervading habit and mistake it. Can we just recognize it? He then says that shaky vulnerability contains an element of sadness, but not in the sense of badness, not berating, not like, why? It's so sad that I'm continuing this absolutely suffering continuing path. You could only be sad if you really made contact with that, couldn't you? Can I just recognize, here I am again, doing it again, but not without deep, wise hope, but I can awaken now. And then I have to make then an offering, because otherwise what? The habit will pervade. It'll just spin the next thought and the next one and the next one. We can't let that pattern, remember it's autopiloted. I used that word earlier. It's already flash flood. It's going to get you before you almost even know what happened to you. Wherever you catch it is good enough. If it's the third thought, it's okay. If it's the 50th thought, it's okay. If it's the 50 billionth thought, it's okay. Why? I can awaken now. Right? And offer kindness to myself. That shaky vulnerability contains that element of sadness. I want you to remember that. It's one of the reasons we don't turn towards. We don't want to make contact with that grief. We don't want to make contact with, wait a minute, I've been around 70 years. I spent most of it doing the other thing. And can I just wake up now? Yes, is always the answer, isn't it? Yes, I can. Just now. Bang. And that's absolutely all you can do now is this moment, and then guard the mind. Guard the mind with what? What are we guarding the mind with? That courageous heart. We're guarding the mind with that courageous heart that says, I'm just not going to repeat this. I'm going to stay here. I'm going to be on my own side, says Rick Hansen. I'm going to do whatever it takes so as not to fall in the well of my own old, shabby, believed, falsely believed thoughts. And then it says down here, there is also an element of loneliness to this. It is not like a big party to begin. Can we remember this? Why? Because it feels like it's just us, don't we? We buy in so easily. That loneliness is essential also to contact. It is also not true. You are not the only one. It is not you. It is the nature of this habit-forming mind. So you have to go, then I'm hating everyone. Actually, if I've decided I'm an idiot, I have now decided you're an idiot and everyone's an idiot because everyone is actually going to do this. Or we can choose to break that cycle and go, but I can wake up now and you can wake up now and they can wake up now too. I know it's hard. I know it's hard, but at least do not perpetuate the propagation of suffering by the reality that you are going to run into the unpleasantness of the sadness and the grief of having missed one's life till now, and the loneliness. It's just me. I've done it to myself. It is not true. It is our humanness left unattended, by the way. That's how we got there. Loneliness is the result of having abandoned oneself. We have a hard time with that. We like the idea of the enemy out there. And then it says, the rustling of your armor or the sound of raindrops falling on your coat becomes loud. We hear everything. The fluttering of occasional butterflies around you is almost an insult. He means it is almost overwhelming because we are now so present to the truth of the moment. Right, so I don't have it here. I'll have to look here. So in discovering these facets, does somebody see that? Discovering these facets of fearlessness is preparation, might be on the other page, for the further journey on the warrior's path. Oh no, that's the sadness. We got to go on. The second guide, there is a complete absence of laziness. I thought that was important. Even if what you are seeing, hearing, or perceiving becomes difficult and demanding, the warrior never gives up. And that's right here at the front. This is important. You will convince yourself that there is no point, and it is never true. This allows you to develop your loyalty and connection to yourself and others free from fear, because we're going to attend to ourselves again and again and again. You feel warmth, compassion, and even passion towards others. I don't want to start there. Remember, he's already in the work with others, but we can feel it, can't we? That warmth, that loyalty, that connection to ourselves, knowing what? That others, what did I say in the practice? Others know this too. And so it's fine. First, you develop your own good conduct. First, you develop your own good conduct. And then you can extend yourself fearlessly to others. I'm trying to figure out where that is. There is a complete. Here it is. First, you develop. That is the concept of the sun. You see it there in blue now. The second paragraph, I went all the way down to the bottom. It's like a sound echoing in a canyon, bouncing back on itself, producing more echoes that bounce off one another. This is the analogy of the echo. I'm going to talk more about this in a minute. Becoming a warrior means that you are building a world that does not give you the degraded setting sun concept, everything falling apart, everything going the wrong way, everything not being towards the benefit of life and life-affirming reality, which is purely indulging yourself in confusion. You're buying in right there to the storyline. He says the warrior does not fall for this. You're going to have to wake up. That means recognizing all that negativity as just a part of our old habits. That is the echo, seeing the reactivity and the willingness to stay and battle with it, not just go, well, that's just it. And it's just that we bring our courage, that we bring our resourcefulness and demand that we stay. The warrior's third tool is actually a weapon. It is represented by the analogy of a bow and arrow, which is connected with developing wisdom or prajna, which means wisdom, and upaya, which he doesn't talk about here, but he does. It's right there. Or upaya, which is the skillful result of wisdom. Wisdom is arising first, then what? That's the bow, and then the arrow is the action that then hits what? The target. The target is what? Suffering. It disperses that target so that it cannot continue. It's experiencing the sharpness of sense perceptions and developing psychological accuracy. I would say more even than accuracy is a certain type of flexibility that we're now using in our new mental health languaging. This is the same quality of natural intelligence discussed earlier as the sun in your head. Here you are wielding that intelligence as a weapon of awareness, I would say, even more, a weapon of the heart. The courageous, loving, opening under all circumstances heart. So then I took some notes that I want to read, so I'm going to come back. The rest of this is around these three dynamics, but here I want you to hear this. So the sun, I had to do a lot of thinking about this yesterday. I'm going to get rid of this thing. I was doing, because I know these concepts are hard. So the sun represents our true nature or our innate wisdom. That's that prajna that he was talking about. Always shining, unshakable, pervading. These are the words used in the suttas. And present, regardless of circumstance. True? It is true. Always available, regardless of circumstance. Very important for you to know, because you might be going, no, I don't have it in this moment. Yes, you do. You're not practiced with it. You don't know how to hold it completely yet, but you are capable with what? Practice and training. So we're just going to commit ourselves. Just now, get back to me in this moment of awakening. I don't have my weapon yet, says Chogyam. I'm just there, alone and sad, going, I don't want to do what I used to do. I've got no good ideas. Well, we do now. We're going to breathe in for ourselves in this moment of difficulty and suffering, knowing this is a part of the path. We can still shine the light of that awakening on ourselves, knowing this is a moment where I don't know what to do. This is a moment I don't have any other good ideas. This is a moment of absolute terror. This is still now a moment of bravery as well. So I want you to know that, because we're going to run into it. Even when clouds, thoughts, emotions, fear, and habits cloud the sun, it doesn't stop shining. Similarly, even when we feel overwhelmed, afraid, when we believe our basic goodness is nowhere to be found, there is the capacity for clear seeing and courage. Even this, and beginning by staying willingly, willfully, open-heartedly with oneself. Even when the clouds cover the sun is always shining. And then the echo. The metaphor of the echo illustrates how we react often habitually, unconsciously, and from fear to situations that we are unfamiliar with, that we don't like, that we don't want, and that we want to go away. True? Yes. The 2x4 to the head, the suffering, in fact, is the information we need. It is not there for no reason to go wrong way. Don't continue. Stop sign, turn around, you back, do whatever, right? It's there to say not this. And it's so strong and powerful, except what do? We go, that's just the way it is. That's just my life. This is just the suffering I'm born to bear. We have a whole bunch of storyline. It is not true. And we have to then use suffering as the activator or the catalyst for our bravery, says Chogyam. And you're going to have lots of opportunities for that, because you're going to notice the sinking into the old habit. The echo is that reminder. The reverberation would be a word. The feedback might be another word. Everybody get this idea of the reality of our present moment and our reacting, relating to it. I am in a moment of default if I am in this moment of suffering. Can I wake up to this? The answer is yes. We're triggered and we can respond. The teaching invites us to pause and notice the echo without reacting. How? We can drop right into the body and feel the jangle. That's the echo that he's talking about. The feedback loop from life itself going wrong way, wrong way. Does that mean that grief is the wrong way? No, grief doesn't have that feeling, actually. It's not the same. It's not true. It's not jangly. It's heavy, weighted, right? It's got a whole different experience. Does this mean it's suffering? No. Grief is grief. Sadness is sadness. Those are not sufferings, and they are unpleasant. It's just the truth of pain in our life. There's nothing to do but now open completely to them. This is different than that jangle. Get me out of here. Get me somewhere else. There's nowhere else to go. This is the beginning of our mindfulness practice and transformative. By the very, I'm going to respond by either just breathing with, staying close, moving closer, and remembering this is the moment of awakening right here. I'm already in it by this very open-hearted responding. That's the echo. And then the bow and arrow. It represents the training, the path, the continuous practice that you can never just and go, got it, and that's the end of the path. It is not. It is the whole thing over and over until we can become one, says the Zen of archery, right? with all aspects of this, the very picking up of the bow, the very holding it in the hand, the drawing of the arrow, the placement, right? These are all points on the path that we ultimately awaken to eventually, he calls it hit the target. And what do we call it? Being open hearted. Being open hearted. It takes discipline, practice, effort, intention, repeated, rinsed, repeated again, forever. Forever. For some, this can become discouraging. Why? Because you want it now. Libby just said, because the greedy mind steps in and goes, no, I want to be a star now. I want to get it right now. I want to be out of suffering now. This is going to take way too long. No, it isn't. It's just this moment. You just want it forever. That's the greedy mind. Instead of, and then I'm going to have to take the arrow out of the shaft. I'm going to have to place it back in the bow. I'm going to have to really establish position all over again, because I can't hit the target called the present moment if I don't do all that. We don't like this. I just want to hit it and be done, right? And we just recognize the greedy nature of that mind and smile, because that's a moment of waking. I just want what I want, and I want it now. You can be out of suffering right now. However, it is the promise and the path, but it is only this one. That's it. And then I have to do it again, and we go, oh, see, over and over again. But yes, mastery requires this forever. Let me see what else I have here. The discipline and the precision are guaranteed to cultivate mastery. We already know this. This is right. You pick up the weight, you put it down, you pick it up, you put it down. This is the path. The bow is our discipline, the arrow is our insight, and the target is our suffering. You get this? Yeah. Discipline, insight. Let me see if I have anything else here I think is important. I already said the sun is all pervading, always shining, available any moment, and it is true. You will hear yourself saying, I missed it, it's too late, I blew it, it's hopeless, but this is the target of the present moment, right? Whatever that thought is the target. There is no moment where I cannot awaken with whatever is there. They're just so sucrose. They're so seductive. They're so insipid, right? This creeps right in and grabs you, but we can still awaken in them. Any questions about this? I didn't love this chapter because I didn't feel like the metaphors were completely clear. Hopefully, the sun, I think, was the easiest. The echo is the reverberation of life in its response to you, and to what part of you? Everything. That thought, that greed, that hatred, that delusion, life's right there going, no, not quite, not that. And it's a beautiful teacher, isn't it? Okay, anything else about chapter 10? Did anyone see anything in that chapter that you found especially interesting? Look in your books, see if there was anything there for you. Anything that you saw. That the metaphors I thought were the best opportunity, and this practice, I think, is going to create possibility for us to use them all. Look through the book there for a second, see if you see anything. just see something right here that I might just read. It's the second to last chapter. I'm just noticing it here. So I am going to read it. These three principles, the sun, the echo, and the bow and arrow, are all connected with the natural process or path of working with our basic intelligence. That's our basic capacity for awakening. Beyond that, they describe the fundamental decorum and decency of the warrior's existence or path. A warrior, or remember the word we're using is bodhisattva, should be capable of artfully conducting his or her life in every action, from drinking tea to running a country. Oh, that's interesting. To running a country. That had escaped me till now. How true that is. Learning how to handle fear and how to utilize both our own and others' fear is what allows us to brew the beer of fearlessness. You can put all those situations of fear and doubt into a gigantic vat and ferment them. Use them skillfully. That's the upaya. Use them skillfully. Even the difficulty can be used. The poison is the medicine, is one of the key slogans. The poison is, in fact, the medicine. The path of fearlessness is connected with what we do right now, today, rather than anything theoretical or waiting for a cue from somewhere else. The basic vision of warriorship is that there is goodness in everyone. We are all good in ourselves. So we have our own warrior society within our own bodies. We have everything we need to make the journey already. There is nothing else you have to get. Don't wait. It is all right here, right now. Okay, let's do our prayer. I'm very excited for us all. Many will be in retreat for at least a day, if not more days. I'm thrilled by that. It's going to be beautiful. I just looked at the weather in San Marcos, and it's a sunny, pleasant time there, which will be very lovely. Spring is my favorite. I have to say, the flowers, the meadow flowers are all in bloom. It's going to be up in the upper 70s. Even on Saturday as high as 80 something. So, check and dress accordingly. We will be in shade, and you'll get instructions on what to bring so that you're comfortable, since we'll be outside. If you know the words to this prayer, you please recite them with me. You'll be doing so not only for you, but for us all. May I be a guard for those who need protection, a guide for those on the path, a boat, a raft, a bridge for those who wish to cross the flood. May I be a lamp in the darkness, a resting place for the weary, a healing medicine for all who are sick, a vase of plenty, a tree of miracles. And for the boundless multitudes of living beings, may I bring sustenance and awakening, enduring like the earth and the sky, until all beings are freed from sorrow and all are awakened. Breathing in, feeling for oneself, inviting the printing, the branding, the being of this heart with those essential instructions. Making this a very good day. May we live it fearlessly, open-heartedly with that prajna and that beautiful, skillful action. So be it. Ah. Thank you all so much. We will have Greg here on Thursday. I will be leading Saturday's practice from the retreat center. We all go over to the stream and practice there together at 7:30. So I'll look forward to seeing those of you who will join us online. If you have not signed up for retreat yet, I would like you to examine what's in the way of that and work with me, please, on what it will take to make sure you get there, because that will be the best medicine possible. I'm going to put the forgot what to call this, the URL for sign up. If you need support with money or scholarship, partial scholarship, please let me know because there is money set aside by our board in order to do that. Yes, some of you are not in California like Courtney, so she can't join us, but please join us on Saturday, Courtney. That would be fabulous. I would appreciate that. And I just sent that link to everyone. Everyone, please have a beautiful day. Make it beautiful with this commitment to being with oneself. And then I want you to see before the end of the day, if you can try to hang on to this for a little while, how this naturally expanding heart is like that east rising sun. It shines on everything. So be well, everyone. Good to see you all. Take care. Good to see you, Jim. Be well.